Brimnes Bed assembly. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Clueless Dad. Today we're going to assemble a IKEA bed. This is the Brimnes, part of the Brimnes series. This is the version without the headboard. So it's basically just like a pedestal bed with 4 relatively large drawers underneath, which is the reason why we picked it. This is the double size, or in the US it's referred to as the full size. I'll put the dimensions up there. Okay, so before we get started, a few things to note. First of all, we got the basic slats, the Leroy ones, not the fancier ones, a little bit cheaper. So that's up to you which ones you prefer. I'm going to do it in time lapse, but I will put some on-screen things explaining what's going on. And at the end, I will talk about what I like about this one and what I don't like about it. So anyway, let's get started. 3, 2, 1, go. Just a warning on the amount of stuff. Because it's basically a chest of drawers with a bed frame around it, it's actually quite a lot of material. It's a lot of wood. It's all particle board, but that's another story. But anyway, just be aware of the weight. So if you add up these 3 boxes plus the crossbeam plus the slats, it's actually almost, or it's actually probably even over 200 pounds. So whatever, like 90 kilos. So that's actually quite a lot. So be careful when you're picking up, especially the big one. Don't forget your bracket is pointing down, and for this guy, make sure that the socket is facing outwards. Okay, ta-da! Getting there. Okay, so my camera died, and I might have missed some of this, but basically I was able to screw in these side L brackets, mostly using my electric screwdriver, because there's 8 screws on this side and 8 screws on that side. But then came probably the worst part of all. After I put in this piece and this piece, which hold the cross beam, I put in these little crisscross brackets, and these things really suck. So as you can see, these things are basically like folded in stamped sheet metal with some cutouts there, and they screw in with these tiny machine screws, and the machine screws are slightly long enough but also barely long enough. Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 of the threads will get going, and because it's basically going through a piece of sheet metal which is sort of stamped but not really tapped, you have to get the machine screw to bite and then start screwing through, and it's really a pain in the butt, and you actually have to like push down to try to like
I don't know, warp the metal to get it going so the threads get going. And as you can see here, this one's not even straight, but you know, if I jog it, it actually probably will come out because there's not enough threads there. So I don't know why they did that versus a sheet metal screw, or just make a longer one or what, but it's really a pain. In this case, it actually is sunken into there. So yeah, just make it freaking like 2 millimeters longer and it'll be way, way better. I don't know what they're trying to protect underneath or what, but this is just a bad design. And IKEA has actually been doing this for a long time. I don't know why they haven't come up with a better solution. I don't know, use a plastic clip, use something. Can't be worse than this. Anyway, so that actually is a huge waste of time just dealing with all that, and those things come loose anyway. So for some reason that's not entirely clear in the instructions, there's actually 2 levels you can put the mattress at. There's a lower set of holes, which we're screwed into right now, and an upper set of holes, and that also applies here where the center beam goes. And so depending on how high you want your mattress to be, I guess if you have a really tall mattress, you put on the lower one. If you have a really thin mattress, you put on the upper one. It doesn't exactly say. It just says that you shouldn't put a thin mattress on the lower one, I guess. But that has to be a pretty thin mattress. Anyway, so I did the lower one, but I guess if you put on the upper one, you'd have a little bit more storage space if you were to not use the drawers, but to put stuff in on top. Anyway, long story short, kind of a mystery. Maybe they use it differently if you have a headboard or what, I don't know. So anyway, more to go. Okay, slats. Okay, get my Leroy's on. Ta-da! Okay, almost done. Like I said, this is basically like 2 pieces of furniture. It's 2 jobs in one. It's a chest of drawers and a bed frame.
New shimmers of floor wax and a dessert topping.
And I basically finished the bed frame and the frame for the chest of drawers. I just have to do the actual drawers. So there's 4 of these. They're identical. Doesn't matter which position. They're all the same. So I'm going to do one in depth, and then I'm just going to jump ahead to when I finish all 4 of them, hopefully today. But anyway, let's get going. 3, 2, 1, go. One more thing, just be careful about tightening everything up, especially the rails on the side, because this is the one piece in the whole bed that you will actually be moving on a hopefully regular basis. So it's probably the most likely to come loose, so just make sure you do it right. Okay, ta-da! Okay, here you go. Here's what it looks like all together, and here's what it looks like with the mattress in place. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me give my impressions from putting it together. As I said several times along the way, it's a lot of work. Set aside a lot of time before you go into it. The construction is very similar to a lot of other IKEA beds. I put together the Malm and also the Tarva. So this is a little bit of each. It's also the same as the Brimnes drawers. Like literally they all have the same handles and stuff like that. So it's the same as if you had the wardrobe, plus you put together a typical IKEA bed on top. The drawers are okay. They seem to work okay. It's a little weird. They don't quite use up all the space. Could have been a little bit deeper. There's kind of some dead zone in the middle. One of the problems is you're going to be tempted, and I know this probably happens a lot, when this thing is pulled out, It's super easy to step on it, and because this whole thing is lifted off, because it's a drawer, it's got to pull out, there is some space between the bottom of the drawer and obviously the ground. So if you do step on it, your foot's going to break through that fiberboard, cardboard bottom. So just be warned. There's a little metal bar in the center, so if you step right in the center, maybe it'll take it. But it claims it can take 20 kilos per drawer, but that has to really be spread out. So don't put like, I don't know, dumbbells in there or something. But if you were to spread books around, okay. Obviously very well suited for taking like bed sheets and pillows and stuff. I don't know if this drawer would be great if you're using it on a daily basis. I imagine probably you won't be using this as you're like getting your socks out every day, but maybe that's just me. One thing about the design as a whole that's really weird is this bed, in this case, doesn't come with a headboard, but these drawers go the whole length, and that's obviously a blessing and a curse, which means that almost all of the space underneath here can be used for storage. That's good, but it also means you can't put anything, like you can't put a nightstand next to your pillow up at the top, because then it will block the drawer, or you'll have to move your nightstand every time you want to get into here. So just be aware of that. That's kind of the curse, is you got the whole length of the bed basically to use for two giant drawers, but forget about getting too close to the wall. Like there's a wall right here, so if you want to put it close to the wall, then you can't get to these drawers, or you'll have to actually lift up the sofa and pull up the slats to get to anything down there, which is, at that point, why did you buy this, right? In our case, probably we will put the baby's crib on that side, and we'll push this all the way to the wall, so we might have to like shift it back and forth to get at stuff, but we'll use it more for like long-term storage. And let's quickly talk about the headboard version of this Brimnes bed. So there is a version that has a headboard, but it's kind of a weird design. It basically is like a series of cubby holes on the side, and the headboard's actually kind of deep, but the cubby holes are just around the edge, and only from like here up, the headboard part. So basically from this point down, it's just kind of empty space, and there's obviously like a shelf at the top, but it's kind of a waste. Even the cubby holes don't go like all the way into the center. It's not like as deep as these drawers. So you're basically wasting a bunch of space. You got to move your bed sort of even further into the rest of the room, and you're not really getting that much out of it, and obviously it costs more. So we didn't even get a headboard. If you want just like a simple headboard, get the Malm, and they also have a version with drawers. But in that case, it's literally just a board, right? It's just like the same as this. So anyway, this Brimnes headboard one, I would skip it. Obviously, I did skip it. So one interesting thing to note about the price of this guy, and I think this is the first time ever I've seen it. So I live in Hong Kong. When I buy these things, I pay the Hong Kong price, and inevitably it is anywhere from 10% to 25 or 30% more expensive in Hong Kong than it is in the US until today. So this Brimnes in the US for this size, no headboard, double size or full size, whatever you want to call it, it's like 300 US plus tax. Here in Hong Kong, 215, so it's like 1,600 Hong Kong dollars. 215 US dollars, no tax. So I don't know why someone screwed up on the pricing or something, but it's actually cheaper here, which makes it, obviously a good deal. So that's one of the reasons why we got this one and not one of the fancier ones with the different, ornamentation. Pretty reasonable, I think. I've had previously the Malm bed, and these things do get beat up when you move, take them apart, put them back together. But that one, because it was so simple, I don't know, I had that thing probably for going on 10 years. And obviously I used it every day. So I think this one will hold up pretty well until my kids get big enough where they can maybe break it by jumping on it, but we'll have to have a conversation about that later. Okay, so that's it for today. Another IKEA bed assembly done. I've actually got a couple more things to do in this room before my family gets back. So see you guys next time. Any comments or questions, please leave them below. Consider subscribing, give us a thumbs up, etc., etc. See you. Bye. Having the stroller with me all the time up in the overhead bin. As soon as we get off the plane, pull it out, unfold it, and walk off. Literally that could save you 15-20 minutes right there.